Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about whether or not you actually need to believe your manifestation is possible or even believe in the law of assumption or manifestation in general, and if that will make or break your manifestation basically. So when I first started learning about manifestation, I heard a lot of different theories about manifestation, different rules, different perspectives, different opinions about manifestation. And to this day, there are so many opinions about manifestation out there. It can be really, really confusing to figure out what is going to work for you. Now, some things are blatantly wrong, and some things are questionable, and there's a lot of gray area because essentially the way manifestation works is if you believe in something, it becomes true for you. Now, I have experienced this consciously and unconsciously, and what I mean by that is before learning about manifestation, I have experiences that support some of the laws of manifestation, some of the concepts of manifestation, and now that I'm conscious and aware of manifestation and more so conscious in general, conscious of my life, conscious of my behaviors, my identity, my spirituality, my connection with my beliefs and what I believe to be my God. So there's a really big difference between how I used to view what I now know as manifestation and how I view it currently. But I want to demystify today is whether or not you actually need to believe in manifestation for manifestation to work. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are very skeptical. There are a lot of people who are just questioning or uncertain. When you are new to the topic of manifestation, you obviously have so many questions. You probably have a big curiosity about who to listen to and who to believe and whether somebody is saying something correct or not, and there's really no way of verifying it outside of your own experience. Now, I've experienced something where I know a lot of people love scripting, and a lot of people love state akin to sleep, and a lot of people love visualization, and those methods or techniques, I'm not going to say they don't work for me, but they are so challenging for me. They're difficult for me to keep up with. They're not natural. I don't instinctively reach for those things. Occasionally from time to time I will put myself in a state akin to sleep and do a visualization or affirmations. Sometimes when I meditate I like to use visualization. I believe that scripting is wonderful when it comes to practical goal setting, so they're all wonderful tools, but in terms of how they fit into my manifestation journey, they just didn't work for me. But just because they didn't work for me doesn't mean that they don't work. And I believe that part of the reason those things don't work for me personally is because I don't believe they work for me. So that's the thing about manifestation, is whether you believe it or not, it works. But the contrary to that is if you believe something doesn't work for you, then it's not going to work for you. This is like when you believe something is difficult for you. Let's say, here's a perfect example. I have believed for a very long time that learning languages is hard. That is a belief that I am doing my very best to eradicate because I really want to learn several languages to be able to communicate with different people, and it's mostly for my personal development, to be able to think in a different context and take on a different perspective. So this is a little bit of a tangent, but the idea is that because I have formed the belief over my lifetime that learning languages is difficult, and especially learning languages after you're 13 years old, there's some brain science behind that says our language centers of our brain kind of develop. I don't want to say harden because they don't harden. We don't ever really completely lose neuroplasticity, but it does become difficult after puberty to learn languages. And I think because I've stuck to that belief for so long, because I've really held on to that belief, now as I'm learning languages and I'm experiencing that manifest itself to be true. So whether or not I believe learning languages is easy is going to be my reality. So because I find it difficult, I didn't start challenging that belief until maybe about a year ago, when I started to get back into the practice of learning languages. But basically, that is a perfect display of how what we believe can block us, and whether or not we are consciously choosing those beliefs, that can affect our manifestations. Now, in terms of, in general, whether you have to believe in manifestation or not to manifest, well, no, you don't, because from the time that we're born to this present moment, we are manifesting. We are doing it consciously or unconsciously. A conscious manifestation is like, pasta sounds really good right now. And then we go to a restaurant that serves pasta, or we go to the store to pick up stuff to make pasta, or if we have it at home, we begin to cook the pasta. Like, that is a conscious choice. We have this thought, this desire, and then we act upon it in a very practical way. That is conscious manifesting. Now, unconscious manifesting, I've shared this example before, where I was in the market for another car and I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't really investing too much of my energy into it because my partner was taking care of it. And so I ended up watching one of my favorite manifestation YouTubers, and I was going for a walk, and she told this success story about a silver SUV, and within a couple of days I was the proud owner of a silver SUV. That is a perfect example of how we may not be conscious of how we are being influenced, but our thoughts can still create things. So after that experience, I started really thinking about my life in a different way and thinking about, wow, how many things have I subconsciously manifested just because I didn't have any resistance to it? I didn't have any beliefs that said, no, you can't have that, or it's going to be really difficult for you to achieve that. I didn't have any limiting beliefs or confining beliefs or contradictory beliefs about obtaining a silver SUV, about being the owner of a silver SUV, and that's why I was able to manifest it without lifting a finger, without putting much thought into it. I literally listened to that video and boom, it landed in my lap. Like it just arrived in my reality. Now, on the contrary, when you are manifesting something that you really want, I'm talking like it is number one on your list of things that you want, and you just really have to have it, those you're going to experience more resistance with for many different reasons. But primarily, I think what happens to us is we believe that it's hard to manifest. We believe that it is a big goal. We believe it's going to take a long time. We believe that it takes a lot of energy to achieve. We believe that we're not worthy of it. We believe that we're not the type of person who can ever have that experience or that possession. We believe against the desire. We believe the opposite of the desire to be true. We put blockages in our own way. So whether you believe in manifestation or not consciously, I'm sure you've experienced situations where you really get yourself so worked up about a goal and then you don't get it, and that feeling of disappointment can be really crushing. And I'm sure you've experienced the opposite situation where you don't even really want it, but it shows up. Like, I don't know if you've ever, had a party at your school or workplace and people have brought food and it's like food that you're just not interested in, like you just really don't care for the food. But it's in your reality. It's an option for you to choose. I think that we've all had experiences where we attract things that we like or don't like just by accident, by happenstance, and not realizing it, not purposely choosing to put ourselves in those situations, not purposely choosing to attract those people into our lives, not purposely choosing to bring about those opportunities. But they arrive. They arrive every day. Every single day of our lives, we are manifesting things. We are manifesting positive and negative experiences. Hopefully mostly positive. In general, the law applies no matter what. Manifestation is happening no matter whether we choose it or not. You can completely not believe in it. When I first started manifesting, boy, was I skeptical. I hadn't healed my relationship with God, so I was not a very spiritual person outside of very surface level spirituality. I was not, I was not connected to energy. I wasn't a believer in anything supernatural outside of the few experiences that kind of, I now know them to be synchronicity, but those really made me feel like there's no such thing as coincidence. I knew there was something, I think intuitively, deep down I knew, but I resisted it so much. And when I first began manifesting, when I first began my manifestation journey, I realized that I didn't believe it. I had a really hard time believing it. I wanted to believe it. I wanted to be part of this club of people that I had now surrounded myself with. I even created a business that was spiritually based so that I could be around these people who do believe in manifestation, these people who do believe in energies and quantum physics and spirituality and source energy, whatever you want to call it, but the energy of the universe that, you know, causes things to shift whether we see that or not. And I was so skeptical. I was a very logical person, just stuck in logic brain, stuck in overthinking and obsessing over thinking and analyzing and being really critical of the world, the universe, of how things work, trying to take a very practical perspective of things. And while I value those traits in myself and I value the experience that gave me, it's so much more fun on the other side. One of my favorite YouTubers, Naya, it's Neyah, she calls it living in Delulu land, and that's like my favorite terminology for it in the world. It's just so fun, like, to play along to the craziness of it, to play into the fact that, yeah, it's a little bit weird to believe that you can just repeat what you want a bunch of times and poof, it'll arrive, or like listen to a random video and then have that desire fulfilled for you, or like attract the exact person that you're looking for, or get hired at the exact job that you wanted, even when you believed it wasn't possible. Like, I'm talking manifestation can be so insane when you get into it. And it's one of those things, like, if you're watching this video as someone who's new to manifestation, if you're watching this video as someone who is not new to manifestation and has tried and pushed and struggled and fought for your manifestations and they're not here and that's why you're not believing. Like, I've been on both sides, I get it. But the main thing is, whether or not you believe in manifestation, it's always working. Whether or not you believe in spirituality, we are spiritual beings. Whether or not you believe gravity exists, we are all experiencing it, right? There are certain things that are easier to believe because we can sense them, we can see them, we can hear them, we can smell them, we can taste them, we can touch them, or we can sense them within our bodies as a feeling. And then there's believing outside of what we can experience. And all of the best things that have come into my life have been from that state of believing what I cannot see, believing the impossible, believing that I can have things, even though my past has shown me, you're never gonna have this because you've never had it. I think I've become really good at buying into the delusion, at being comfortable with the fact that nobody else has to believe, I just have to stay focused on it. And even sometimes if my belief wavers or I feel resistance, I feel those limiting beliefs come up, I'm able to handle them in a different way now because I'm choosing to believe. I'm choosing to invest in this because it has worked. Does it work 100% of the time? No. But does anything work 100% of the time? No. Like, there is always some form of failure. There's always going to be situations that don't work out exactly as we hope, don't work out exactly as planned, and that's the beauty of life. And the more that we can lean into those experiences with that perspective of, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm gonna try it. I don't know if this works, but I'm gonna figure it out. I think there's no replacement for experience when it comes to manifestation, especially. I can tell you all day long all the random things I've manifested, all the times that, like, I had a thought of like, oh, I'd really like to eat here, and somehow, some way, I ended up eating there. Or I really wanted an object, to own an object, and all of a sudden I had the opportunity to either, buy it for myself, or someone gifted it to me, or it arrived in my reality some way, somehow. And through those experiences, I have understood manifestation on a deeper level. So from the time that I began where I was confused and doubtful, even though there are still some doubts in me, I'm able to face them because I know I have so much evidence already stacked up in favor of manifestation that it's getting easier and easier to believe. It's getting easier over time to believe that not only can I have what I want, but I don't have to figure out how I get exactly what I want. I just have to believe that I can have what I want, that I'm deserving of what I want, that I'm worthy of it, that if I truly desire it, it's because in my belief system, the way I see the world is our desires are seeds from God. So God plants those seeds of desire within us, and it's up to us to nurture those desires, to choose those desires, and to foster them until the manifestation, the demonstration of our desires arrives. So I will leave you with a quote from the late Bob Proctor. And he says, "If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand." And that is the most simple explanation for manifestation I've ever heard. And it really sums it up. As long as you can picture a reality that exists where you have that desire, you can have that desire. And even though it will be struggle sometimes, even though it can be frustrating sometimes, even though you may face doubt, the law is always in action, whether we believe it or not, whether we are consciously manifesting or unconsciously manifesting. It is always happening around us. So I encourage you, I challenge you to test it out for yourself. See if certain techniques work better for you or not. Just, try manifesting something that you feel you can't even believe. Like, it would be just so outrageous. Like, you would be so in awe to have that desire. I challenge you to persist in that desire until you have it. Only if you really want it though, because be careful what you wish for. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel for more. If you turn on the bell notification, you'll be notified every time I upload. And if you have any questions that you'd like to keep private, you're welcome to email me. The email is down in the description. And that same email can be used for email coaching. Just go ahead and write the subject line, email coaching, and I'll respond to you with my rates for the service. And that's it for today's video, folks. I really enjoy making these videos. It's really fun to chat with you guys. It's really fun to share some of my manifestation success stories and some of my experiences learning about manifestation. So I love sharing this time with you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!